Anniversary Path is launched. Jumping in here to take a look at this and see if it's worth doing or not. So I'm Cortavius, going to try and help you out with that. Before I do that though, click the link in the description below and you can add Narma to your account if you start a new one, along with the best epic in the game, Uugo, Anax, Mausoleum Mage. Use the code Desert Queen. You add to Anax on day one as well. Crazy start. Just got to do 4 things. Step 1, log out of Play and Play on the PC and uninstall. Step 2, click the link in the description and register with a brand new email. Step 3, launch Raid, complete the tutorial. Step 4, go to your inbox, claim Narma. Enter the code Desert Queen, get to Anax. On day 1, you got 3 champs that are great to build. So, all right, let's look at this path. It is pretty straightforward, I'd say. I think the best reward here is the Eternal Soulstone. Those things are impossible to get. I never open mine because I keep thinking I only have 2. And I swear that's the only 2 I've gotten in like a year and a half, 2 years. I don't know. Since this thing came out, I've opened a few, but I just never see them. So that'd be the biggest benefit of this thing is there's an Eternal Soulstone there. And actually they make it pretty easy to get to. You just come right down the path. You come right down here and boom, it's there. No keys. You can pick up the Eternal Soulstone. That's the simplest path. And it's the best reward. Legendary books are great. Sacred Shard's great. Immortal Soulstone, some Chaos Ore. There's other things in here. And sure, a couple of legendary books would be good. But they make those much more expensive to get. So you can come down straight down as well. Straight down this path and you get a Sacred Shard. So straight down the path to get an Eternal Soulstone. Straight down the path to get a Sacred Shard. Those are straightforward. If you want to get to this middle stuff though, now you got to come over here and get a key. You got to come over here and get a key. And then you got to come down the middle. So you're adding another 12,000 points, 14,000 points just to get the right to pick up a Primal Shard. Now a Primal Shard's good, but that's now 21,000 points. And an extra 40,000 points just to get these guys. So to show some math on the screen here, I did math with artifact runs because that was the easiest to do math on. Champ training is a little more complicated to figure out, so I can't tell if champ training is as good of an option or not. But if I just do Dungeon Diver's piece of it, it takes 39,250 points to get the Eternal Soulstone. Sacreds are 36,250 for 1 Sacred Shard. I don't think 1 Sacred Shard is near the value of an Eternal Soulstone, and yet they're priced similarly. So if I'm picking one thing up in this, it's the Eternal Soulstone. To get 1 Primal Shard, it's 31,500 points, which once again, 1 Primal Shard, sure, 2 times is coming, but that's just as good of odds to get the best odds you're going to have is to get a rare there versus an Eternal Soulstone. Now, if you want a Primal in a Lego book, it's 41,000 points. Primal in 2 books is 51,000 points. If you agree with me, the Eternal's the best value, but you want to get a Primal and a book out of it, now you're talking 75,000 points. So I feel like they're really driving you to choose here, not to try and sweep this whole thing. I didn't even do the math for the whole thing, to be honest. Because then if you run stage 20 of normal and you get an average of 40 points each artifact, which I'm getting that from here, you know, legendary 6 stars are 51, 38 for a legendary, 43 for an epic, so 6 star. And you can get a lot of 5-star epics out of here. So I just said, let me just give me an average of 40 out of that, which seems reasonable. Then it takes 15,700 energy to get the Eternal Soulstone. That's an equivalent of 4,831 gems if you had no energy and literally had to convert gems. But just to give an idea of the cost. So the Eternal, Primal, and a book would be 30,000 energy or 9,000 gems. So that's a significant cost. They definitely didn't do the, hey, this is an anniversary event. Let's celebrate the community and let's celebrate what we did and let's put something out here that, yeah, you got to be active in the game, but if you're just active, you can get it. No, I mean, they really want you to have to go for this thing and want to invest the energy. Yeah, and they do have a champ training piece of it, just not to miss it. So, you know, if you can level up champs, you can do rank upgrades. 2, 3, 4, 7. I think these looks consistent with the past. So yeah, you can do a lot of champ training. And what I don't have baked into these energy numbers, which would lower them, is if you double dip. So if you run campaign to do your champ training, so don't use brews, but if you go in there and use champ training to do this, you will double dip this. You'll get champ training points as well as artifacts. Now you're not going to get that 40 average. So I'm not saying it's a lot less than 15,700. No, I mean, you're going to get champ training points as well as dungeon divers points, but you're going to get a lot of crappy artifacts out of campaign. But that's what I would do, is I'd probably start champ training and getting the artifact and the champ training bonus. So I can't tell you exactly what that's going to come out to relative to what's here, but I do think this paints a relative picture of the value of each of the rewards you can get. So if I look at that and say, you know, what's the champ training value and is it worth going for? I've got a video coming out tomorrow from this one that's about things that you really should do in the game and make some choices that I really recommend you watch that. But I think this is a choice you've got to evaluate. You've got to see for the gem and energy cost here. Yeah, you can come in here and get an Eternal Soulstone. That's great. But what's your resources available? Because the fusion comes as soon as this thing ends, the fusion starts. So I think their goal is to suck you out of energy here and then have the fusion start the next day. So if I look at my main, I mean, I got a couple 100,000 gems and I got piles of energy, so I should just go get the Eternal Soulstone. Problem is I'm traveling for the next 5 days, so the timing's horrific for me, and our RSL helper is not working either. It's got all kinds of errors, so unless Farbstoff can fix that thing and get RSL helper working, I'm probably screwed anyway. But if I wasn't traveling, my main would go pick this up. My free-to-play, though, has about 16,000 gems and doesn't have a lot of energy. You know, it's a free-to-play account. I mean, 16,000 gems is still pretty nice, but that'd be 4,800 of my gems gone just from doing this. So, you know, I don't know that I want to use 4,800 gems of my 15,000 to get one Eternal Soulstone. It's tempting because I don't think the free-to-play has an Eternal Soulstone as I've ever seen one. But it's, you know, it's one shot. You know, they're worth currency. I mean, if there's a path event that you want to use an Eternal Soulstone for, they are worth a lot of points in those path events. So even if you don't get anything from it, it's worth something there. But an Eternal Soulstone, I mean, you got a 60% chance to get a 5-star and a 75% chance for it to be a 5-star and a 60% chance to be an epic. So your whopping odds are you're going to pull a 5-star epic Soulstone, and that might be Tolth the Memed. You know, yeah, you got a 10% for a mythical or a 30% for a legendary, so 40% chance to get a better one and a 25% 6-star. I mean, that's the best odds you're going to get, but it's still RNG. So that's what this game is, though. I don't probably play enough of the RNG in this game where you just take shots at stuff because that's how you get stuff. And yeah, you're going to be disappointed most of the time, but then you're going to hit gold every now and then, and that's the nature of the game. So I guess the prudent, smart move, if you have the energy and gems, is to go get the Eternal Soulstone and take your shot, realizing you might get a 5-star crappy epic as the greatest odds, but you could get something out of it, or you hold it and you use it as currency, one of those big events. So I'd have 3 instead of 2. I mean, that's a 30% increase in the Eternal Soulstones I'd have. So as I said, my main would go get it. I think my free-to-play sits this thing out. Yeah, I'd love to get an Eternal Soulstone, but to spend 1/3 of my gems to go get it and take a shot, I just don't see doing that. I would rather keep my energy and gems and be able to make sure I get the fusion and every future fusion done, because I know I'm in a good position, because I can't replenish the resources as easily. So it's interesting. There's rewards in here. The Eternal Soulstone's compelling, but they definitely put a cost on that thing, and I want to make sure I get the fusion on the free-to-play account. As I said, the main's got piles, so I certainly would go after that if I can pull it off while traveling. I guess I'm praying Farbstoff, if you're not watching, but Farbstoff, you know, go to his, please fix RSL helper so I can do that remote while I'm traveling. That would be fantastic. All right, that's what I think of the path event. I think the Eternal Soulstone's the thing to get in here. I think the books and the Primal Shard are expensive. I don't think they're really worth it unless you're just going crazy. I think the Sacred Shard's not worth the effort relative to the Eternal Soulstone. So if you have the resources, go get the Eternal Soulstone would be my recommendation. If it's going to compromise your ability to get the fusion, I think one shot at a most likely 5-star epic soul is not worth risking this fusion. I'd keep my resources and make sure I get the fusion done. That's how I see it. Let me know if you got feedback from others, if you watched other content creators, if you have a different view, certainly put something in the comments. Could be helpful for others to hear it and counter whatever the view I have is if you have a different perspective. Appreciate you watching. Thank you.